All right. Well, good morning, everybody. Graeme once again from Colonial Life. Well, we have wonderful pastel artists that we filmed a couple of years ago. My good friend Louise Corke. How are you, Louise?
I'm fantastic. Thank you, Graham.
Fantastic. So, how long ago was it that we actually filmed you?
It was 2013.
Is that right? My goodness. You
Yeah.
haven't changed, but I have.
Yeah.
I can just get some Colonial Life.
Oh, we've all aged, you know.
Oh my goodness. God, I didn't realise it was that long ago.
Yeah, I know. It's quite crazy. And yeah, it was summer. I remember it was summertime because you came into my studio and I really dislike hot weather. You know, I really just don't cope real good at all.
And I remember the air conditioner or something. Yeah.
Yeah, we had to turn that off. And I was thinking like, but yeah, it was funny because during the show I could feel the perspiration trickling down my back, and I was thinking, oh, please don't soak through my blouse so everyone can see. But yeah, that was funny.
Since then, what have you been doing? How's your career been going, and your work as well?
Oh, look, it's been interesting, Graham, and I have to say the show has been marvellous in giving me a lot of referrals especially for my teaching and my tours that I like to do. But we had a bit of a catastrophic failure in the family in early 2014, which caused a massive disruption to the family structure. Mm-hmm. So it meant that I was taking on two of my eldest grandchildren to look after them full time.
Oh, goodness. I did hear something a little bit about that, yes.
And yeah, that just really blew apart my personal painting time.
Yeah.
But I really strongly maintained my teaching practice that I had going because I thought it would help to keep me sane, you know. Yeah, and that was fantastic. And it really, you know, my art community was really good and supportive, even though, you know, the details weren't necessarily apparent to them. They were very supportive and understanding that I was going through something.
Of course. And
yeah, that continued for, you know, about 4 years. So that was quite a long time. But, you know, I'm looking at it and thinking, because, you know, since the discussion about whether I would come and do this little segment, I thought, well, what have I actually done? And there was an incredible amount of things that actually still happened and still functioned, you know, which is really quite amazing. So I'd entered a number of shows and, you know, consistently won first prizes and championships across the board for my portraiture and my drawings. And that was like, oh, wow, you know,
yes.
that's quite surprising. You know, I participated in 11 group exhibitions. I had a solo. I've been exhibiting with 2 and sometimes 3 other artists as a group. So I've done 4 of those shows with another one coming up in January next year. I've been a mentor for the Coochie Art Group with their exhibitions, so supporting them through that. I've had 6 clients for, you know, reasonable size commissions that I've had to work through. I've written more articles for publications.
You'll be writing a few more soon.
Yeah, and I've taught in Western Australia and South Australia and
that's fantastic.
Queensland, and all of these piggyback on We Saw You on YouTube.
Oh, wow, so, fantastic.
You know, that has been through the Colouring Life, which has been fantastic. Yeah. And then also during that time, I managed to organise 5 international tours and did 11 here in Australia, I think. So it was fantastic, you know. So, you know, I look back and I think, wow, you know, what a ride it has been. And sometimes when you're right in the middle of it, you're not adding up the numbers.
Yeah, I mean, that's very true. I mean, sometimes I've been standing watching the sunset go down, and you know that I've travelled pretty extensively, and you're just seeing the sunset go down, but the fact is that you're in Utah, in Arches Valley, watching the sun go down. It's sort of like, oh, hang on, this is where I am. So yeah, absolutely.
It's quite surreal. Like one of the trips to Scotland, I hired a castle. So we
Oh,
all
wow.
stayed in a castle, which was
Great stuff.
just a blast for artists. And then one of the trips to France, so I hired a chateau. So that was,
Oh, wow.
it was just all these things. So you think, well, I would never have been here,
Yeah.
if it weren't for my art. And, seriously, the program has contributed massively to that.
That's fantastic.
Even people on the street will say, I feel like I know you.
That happens to me occasionally too.
That's right.
So what does your future hold? What are you going to do because COVID's hopefully gone and we can open up again? What do you want to do?
Yeah, well, look, I've thought about that, and really what I'd like to do is I want to develop more of my own arts practice now. Like I've sort of got myself together. I've had my parents just passed away in the last 2 years, and I had lost 4 other significant others within that time frame as well. But I feel like I'm ready now for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I really want to develop my portraiture, take it to another level.
Yes.
So I'm really looking at the big profile shows, not so much to win it, which would be nice, of course. We all agree with that. But just to challenge myself, because I love challenges, and I think I've got something to say about a person. I really like bringing out a hidden inequality. So I'm looking at that. And the other thing is just spending more time in nature, just to absorb that positivity and that beauty that's there, especially in these times. There's just too much negative going on that you just need to go out. I mean, I love being among the trees. They're just so, give me so much strength.
I think that's what we found with Colony Life. I mean, our numbers obviously went up during the COVID situation because everybody was stuck inside, and they continue to rise every single day. But I think that's one thing that we don't understand is that we're always looking for something else to give us entertainment or satisfaction when it comes from our soul and our minds.
Yes.
And I think being out in nature and preserving nature as much as we possibly can is the key to making things work for the planet for a start.
Absolutely.
We have to go from there. But
that's right. And I just would really love to, encourage others in their artistic pursuit.
Absolutely.
And if, in a perfect world, and the finances were there, I'd love to set up scholarships to help artists establish a good foundation for their art, because I find that in teaching a lot of people, it's not necessarily the medium that they struggle with. It's those basic foundations that people miss today. I really, that is it deep in my heart that I'd really like to be able to do that.
You might be able to do that sooner than you think then.
Yeah, well, it would be lovely, I just, I would really like to do that. And, looking back, I don't feel proud. I just feel amazed,
Right.
I just feel amazed at what has happened and where we can take our practice to, and, who you can take along for the ride with you, because it's no good. Like you have taken a whole team of artists to the world. You're not just taking yourself to the world, and I don't want to take myself to any high standard if I'm alone. I want to take other people as artists and encourage them and cheer them on in that journey.
That's fantastic. Well, you are amongst hundreds of artists across the world. You do know that. So
yeah, that's right.
Thank you so much for your time today, Louise. It was wonderful to see you again. And I hope everything becomes a lot more sunnier and a lot shinier for you with your career as you go forward. Absolutely. You're a wonderful woman, and I really thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Graeme, and all the very best.
Thank you, Louise.